All right, so kind of assuming from your shirt, you support Black Lives Matter. Why is that?
Why do I support Black Lives Matter? Because I want to see an end to racism, and I want to see equality, in my country and the planet.
So on a day-to-day basis, do you tend to see like the subtle racism that we might have in communities, or that people direct to others?
I think I probably see it a little more than some other white people might see it, because I've schooled myself to notice it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times we're raised in a lot of ways we don't realize. We don't realize what's happening. We say jokes, we say comments, whatever, and we don't really know where they come from. So when you kind of know where things come from, kind of like that little all lives matter thing, like, well, obviously all lives matter. And obviously we all agree with that. But it's the response, it's really a negative response that you're getting from folks. And so I do kind of watch for stuff like that.
With the march today, do you think that this definitely helped raise awareness, that it helped kind of bring the community together in the midst of the media and what's happening with current events?
I don't think it hurt at all. Martin Luther King is a huge figure. People recognize and understand, and they view positively, where a lot of times the Black Lives Matter movement for some reason has been separated from Martin Luther King, and mostly by white people. I think white people do that. But yeah, I think in general it's a nice community builder, and I don't think it hurts. Yeah.
And I think with the separation is, a lot of the times when Black Lives Matter does get involved in something, there tends to be something negative surrounding the context, like with a police shooting or there's a riot that occurs. Whether or not Black Lives Matter is involved, it's the name that is associated.
Right, because they're the first ones that kind of step up and kind of take note if they feel like some injustice has happened towards black folks. So I do kind of get that. That being said, obviously our local group is not a terrorist group, and we're getting together doing events like this, family events, and just talking to people about equality, basically. Not so much anti-police or anything like that.
So overall, how do you think we can possibly change the conversation to bring it back to where it was rooted rather than where it's grown?
Well, I definitely think that is a conversation us white folks should be having, certainly. Because I think in general, it's a lot of us standing around saying, you should stop doing that, you should stop feeling that way, and stuff happened a long time ago, and I think we need to drop those attitudes immediately, and we need to have a little more compassion for people. I mean, no matter how you break it down, a brown person living next to me, their great-great-grandfather and my great-great-grandfather did not have the same experience, and they did not have the same opportunities, and mathematically that just trickles down to reality of what we have today. So I think as white folks we need to kind of pay a little more attention and try to be compassionate. Not when people are saying, hey, I'm being persecuted here, that is not a time for us to stand around and be like, no, you're not. That's not right.
So with that, do you see like systematic racism? Do you see
Yes.
systematic oppression? And
Yes.
like, where do you kind of see it?
Well, everywhere actually. But some of the most obvious comes to my attention when we have these conversations, because the first thing that happens with me, like with a lot of my relatives or friends, and again, I'm talking about white people, is just denial. Well, that's not really happening. Racism is over, and even from like a lot of liberal folks, because sometimes liberals are some of the most difficult, because in reality, we're not doing those things. I'm not beating people up because of their different sexual orientation. My friends aren't either. We're not talking about those things. We're not joking about those things. So we don't really witness that. So a lot of times you'll hear people that are just, it's not that bad. Well, you know what? I can tell you right now, doing this work, it is that bad. Because now that I've been doing this work with this group for an incredibly short period of time, it's amazing how many really, really not nice white people come out of the woodwork to say the most horrific, scary things. It is happening. It happens a lot. And, yeah.
So with what you said with joking, do you think like somebody saying a joke to be funny in their friend group or at a comedy club or something, does that really damage a viewpoint on reality, or do you think it depends on situation to situation?
you know, potentially there's some situational things, but as a general statement, yeah, if I'm hanging out with my friends and they're saying racist jokes, as a general statement, I think it's not a good thing that we overlook that. We're just kind of, oh, Joe's funny, or nah, it's not really funny. You know what I mean? Sexist jokes, people getting raped and beat up, and that's not funny. You know, and I don't think it's cool to normalize that stuff and to make it out like it's funny. It's not funny to the people that it's happening to, so, and I support those people.
So, with President-elect Donald Trump, do you think that he can direct the conversation to make a difference, or do you think that with him being elected that there might be some negative changes and negative connotations to what America is?
Yeah, I think right now there's a lot of negativity coming out because people feel emboldened, you know. When the president's running around grabbing pussy and saying it's okay to grab pussy and just ridiculous crap like that, then you got a lot of teenage boys running around like, oh, I'll grab some pussy. You know, it's not cool. It's not funny. I think that we should be embarrassed, actually. I'm embarrassed. And yeah, do I think Donald Trump could do something? I don't think so, because I don't think he has a mind to. You know, you have to have a mind. You have to care that there's that issue, and I don't think he sees that there's an issue. So, no, I don't think he's going to make a positive difference at all.
So, with his celebrity status coming into the election, do you think that he had good intentions going into it, or was it more so for publicity to try and get his name and his brand out there?
Yeah, no, I think he did it for him. You know, I mean, he's always been very clear about who he is and what he's doing, and he's doing his thing the same way he always has been, you know. Quite frankly, I was a fan before just because, you know, his little ruthless TV show is mildly entertaining and is somewhat reality-based. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't think he did it because he cares about the United States. I think he did it because he wanted to be president, and he could. And now he is going to do it, so there you go. That's how smart we are here. We just didn't put his shows up, I guess.
So how do you think we can change the conversation to a more positive attitude, to a more accepting nature, to where we can bring our communities and our nation back together to where MLK wanted it, to where our founding fathers wanted to have our country?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I think ultimately the answer to your question is, you know, we have to put the work in. You know, people like you and me and people who care have to stand up and say, hey, I care about that, and can't let things slide. You know, we have. Basically, the answer to me would be, there's just going to be a lot of work that needs to be done. Basically, any of the work we have been doing for the last many years is the same work we have to continue to do. So I don't think it's going to go away. I don't think it's, you know, not during our lifetime. But hopefully we can make a difference to a handful of people, to our communities.
So with the work that we have put in, with the work that people like MLK and others have put in, and President Obama and those who are trying to bring on the positivity, to bring tensions
so that she's not
back to something to where we can accept others. Do you kind of think that tensions are as high as they were when MLK was marching, or do you think that they're not as high, but there's still things we need to focus on?
Yeah, I wasn't around then, so I don't have a really intelligent opinion about that. I think it's better than it was then. You know, if you look at your old movies like Selma or whatever, you'll see that those black folks for the longest time were marching by themselves, and that's why we need to be here, honestly. They cannot be marching by themselves. They can't still be marching by themselves. That's ridiculous. So we need more white people to stand up and say that, you know, we care about these people in our community. So I'm not sure if that answered your question.
I think I get it. All right. Thank you so much for your time and letting me interview.